Overcoming negative self-talk. Much of our confidence, much of our self-esteem depends on the way that we talk to ourselves. And let's face it, we usually are our own worst critic, and we're usually harder on ourselves than we will be on anyone else. So that harsh inner critic in there that talks to us and says negative things to us, how do we tell him to shut up? Well, today I'm going to give you 4 ways to finally, once and for all, shut down that negative self-talk. This works for everybody, and you can start it right now. Before we get to that, make sure that you're a subscriber here. And if you're not, hit the subscribe button and the little bell so that you know when we drop videos like this to help you live a much happier life. I'm going to bring you my top 4 ways to overcome negative self-talk in just a moment.
GILD Coaching. More success, less stress.
Overcoming negative self-talk might sound easy, or maybe it sounds impossible. Well, it's not really either. It's going to take some focused work, and I'm going to give you the 4 things that you can do starting right now to finally, once and for all, overcome your negative self-talk. The first thing is actually to recognize it. Many of us will just go blindly throughout our day and we'll have this negative self-talk reel telling us things like, ugh, you're never good at that, or oh my gosh, you're so slow at this. Why are you so slow at this? Other people are so good at this. And it's just this constant thing. Instead of just moving on and hearing that internal soundtrack over and over and over again, stop for 1 week and keep a log of it. Nothing else. I just want you to carry a little journal, a little pad of paper with you, keep it all in one place, or maybe carry a Post-it notepad with you so that you can convert everything to one pad. I want you to keep it all in one place and keep a log of the negative self-talk statements. You will find with this log that it's usually the same statements over and over again. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 10, but you'll say the same things to yourself over and over again. If you find yourself hearing that same statement over and over again, write it down multiple times so that you'll know how many times within that week period that it happened. I'm going to tell you how this can help you in a minute, but it really is step 1 on overcoming all of this negative self-talk. The second thing that you've got to do when you are listening or hearing or recognizing the negative self-talk, realize that it's not you. Separate yourself from your inner critic. You can visualize your inner critic even as another person so that you can start to allow yourself the freedom to not be owned by that voice. When you think that that voice actually is the same thing as you think there's nothing that I can do about it. This is just me, but it's not. This is part of your subconscious mind, yes, but it's a separate part of your subconscious mind that can be changed. So I give it its own identity. You can give it its own name if you want to. Think about some physical attributes maybe that your inner critic might have. I know with my inner critic, I studied film and television production in college. And so my inner critic, I actually visualize an old Hollywood producer, kind of snobby with a beret on and sitting back in a director's chair, kind of snobbishly, saying things. And that actually adding that to it gives it a little bit of comedy. And, he's easier to ignore than it would be easy to ignore if it was me saying these things to myself. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 3, talk back. How do you win against a schoolyard bully? You fight back in some way. You might not fight back the way that the bully wants to fight, but you find a way that works for you, that keeps you safe, but then also tells the bully to shut up. Feel free to talk back to your negative self-talk. If you're like, oh, why do you take so long at this? You can say, you know what? I take so long at this because this isn't one of my strengths. Get off my back. Wouldn't that feel good? If there was another person saying these things to you, you would certainly either avoid them or tell them that, right? So tell this to that inner critic and it will help you. All right. The last way is actually subconscious reprogramming. So remember that log, point number 1, the log of all of the negative self-talk statements that you made? I want you to reduce it on a new page of your journal to having each statement only once. Then on the other side of each page, make the page big enough to do this, or maybe get a larger sheet of paper. Draw a line down the middle. On the left, I want you to put all the negative self-talk statements one at a time. If you've recorded one 15 times, just write it once. And then I want you to ask yourself, is this my truth? If the answer is yes, you can say, do I want this to be my truth? Because the answer will probably be no to that one. And then you write as a positive affirmation on the other side what you want your truth to be. Those are your personal positive affirmations. I want you to cut off the bad side, the negative self-talk side. You can burn it, you can rip it to shreds, you can flush it down the toilet, whatever. But I want you to keep the side of the paper with all the positive reinforcement, the positive affirmations, and every single day you can tape it to your bathroom mirror. You can do what I tell a lot of my clients to do and get either a dry erase marker or a chalk marker. You can write on your bathroom mirror. You can write your affirmations there. I want you to recite those to yourself, and if you can, if you feel comfortable, out loud every single day, at least once. I'd love it if you do it in the morning and at night. When you do that every single day, and I mean every single day, stick with it for at least a month. You'll probably have them memorized at the end of the month. You might tweak them, change them, make them even more affirming by the end of that month, but it will begin to reprogram your brain so that the negative self-talk that's the opposite of what you're saying dies away slowly. It didn't get there overnight, which is why I say please stick with this for at least a month. It didn't get there overnight, so you can't expect it to go away overnight, but with that positive affirmation habit, it will fade away. I hope that this has been of help to you. If it has, please give me a thumbs up. Help me with some positive affirmation. And again, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and the bell before you go so that you know every time that we drop a video to help you live a happier, more successful life. See you next time.